Morning. Gorgeous morning, folks. 60 degrees out, sun's up. June's a beautiful time to be out here. Ah, it's amazing. Gorgeous out here. But I've got work to do, folks. You can see all this greenery, all this grass. If you watched my last videos out here at the cabin, you would have seen all of this was right down to the dirt. All around the cabin was down to the dirt. My mission today is to get the tractor with the box blade going and to knock all this down to dirt. Now, why, you might ask? Well, folks, we're getting into fire season. If I can get as much of this down to raw dirt as I can, as well as the driveways and the road up to the top and all that, I can start putting in some fire breaks, really get the property protected for fire season. And then I really need to try and take a look and see if I can figure out how to get my 3-point working, because right now it's not. And I've been told that there's some wiring that could be faulty and you just got to trace the wires out and find them so that you can get your PTO working. And if I can get my PTO working, well then, folks, we can run the brush hog. And I've got a 5-foot brush hog here that I didn't use last year because although I got my tractor fixed and everything was working, it quit working again before I could run my brush hog. This guy, I think it's a 5-foot, it'll cut 1.5 inch sapling. So needless to say, I got to fix it. I got a drive shaft sitting right there that needs some lube. Got to get it put back in there, get this thing back together. I definitely got to protect that drive shaft. That's ridiculous. But I could also use my post hole digger. I'd really like to get a target set up there on the range. But the main mission right now is to get things knocked down to dirt for fire season and just to kind of protect the cabin. So we'll definitely be running the tractor for a couple hours this morning. And then if I can get my PTO figured out, we'll run the brush hog. But that's the mission for today. So without further ado, let's get to it. Oh, pollen on that seat. Oh, we're 3/4 full. I'll wait for that light to go out. Somebody moved in.
Another day passes. Everything just seems to stay the same. The sun sets and the sun rises, but nothing ever changes. It's just the same thing, different day. Like we're stuck in a cycle. It just goes Sometimes I look up at the sky and I wish for better days. You know, something different. I just want to be moved. I want to be touched. I need a change. You know? But again, it's the same thing. It just goes round and 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 round again. Goes round and round and round and round and round and round. never knew that it would make the heartache. It's become a little bit of my head. I never knew that it would make the heartache. I'm not used to it. I don't care.
about 80 plus degrees out right now. It got kind of warm and boy, that was dusty, but I managed to get quite a bit of the grass knocked down to dirt. As you can see, we didn't get around the sawmill yet. Still need to do that, get that area dealt with. But got up the driveway and back a couple times, so that's pretty much down to dirt. Of course, the object here for fire season is to get as much dirt as I can around the cabin. I still need to get out a weed eater. I didn't bring one with me this trip. I thought about it, but I just didn't. So next trip will definitely be a weed eater trip. We got most of this in here. I need to clean this up a bit more, but I probably need the weed eater for that. It's hard to get the tractor in there to try and get this green stuff here out of the way. And then I really need to move some stuff out of here and kind of dig all that back around there. And most of that's weed eater work, but you can see we got out around the solar panel. Got around the woodshed a little bit better, so that's good. Definitely cleared most of it out and built a more defensible space here, so I think that's going to be pretty good. Tim did a good job stacking firewood and splitting a bunch of firewood, so that'll definitely help this winter. It's funny, I've got a couple rows that I just never touch, but that's just part of the process, you know, try to get more wood than you need by about 2 or 3 times. That way, if you get a nice cold 30 degree below zero winter like we did last year and we're out here, we can stay warm. It's funny, you know, I did all this work, and if you watch my videos, you know that we had this all down to dirt previously. But boy, I'll tell you what, when the spring rains hit and the sun comes up, this grass just starts to grow like crazy. We got down to dirt here. Could do some more still. Can't really do that area in there. It's too much rock in there. I don't want to break the box blade, and I don't get too close to Darcy's tree. She loves that tree. Life is pretty good, folks. This is good. It's crazy. You're probably thinking, that's gross. It's just a bunch of dusty dirt now, but fire season, folks. Out here, you got to take it seriously. So we got a bunch of that done. That's good. Now I think we're going to take the old Jarhead's Jeep and custom off-road overland canoe trailer. Probably go hit a lake somewhere for the afternoon. It's pretty hot out, and being on a lake would be kind of nice. If you ever want to find out where the gopher mounds are, just run your tractor around and plow up the ground a little bit, and you'll find where the gophers are. Morning. Tim and I have been out here, I want to say the weekend, but it's actually not the weekend. Today is Wednesday. So during the week, I'll probably be doing more weekly trips out here. This one's a shorter trip, just a few days, but we got a bunch of groundwork done, as you can clearly see. We've got some clouds overhead, so I think we're going to get some rain, which would be kind of nice because 1, it'll keep the dust down, and 2, it's good for the forests. And I'm just going over here to turn off the water pump. That's my well there. Got an hour or so of water. I think I keep seeing drops, so. Oh, I hear it. We're getting rain. I don't know if you can hear that. Of course, the mosquitoes are out too, but we're getting some rain, folks. That's really good. It'll help keep this dust down. Look at this dust. We call this moon dust. Oh, yeah. I stomped out a hole there. I stomped out one here. Trying to see where they'd pop up. They just pop up in new spots. Oh, the rain is coming down harder now. Look at that, folks. It looks crazy with the rain dropping on the dusty soil here. Raindrops in the moon dust. You imagine how much rain it'll take to make this wet and compact back down again. It'll take a lot of rain, but it's good. It's a good start. We got to move the ATV still. We're packing up, trying to get ready to go, but I got a few things to do still. One that I'm doing now here in the rain is get my game camera memory cards back in. Oh, there's a chipmunk right there, and the sun's coming out. He's right there. Oh, there he goes. I think I'm gonna go see if this rain passes a little bit before I get soaked, folks, because it is coming down now. It'll wash those panels off though. Holy smokes. Getting a little rain now. I love that sound on the roof, but listen to it. There's some heavy, heavy raindrops. You can see the dust from my walking back here. That's pretty crazy. So this rain will help. It'll wash the Jeep off. Or not. It's going to stop already. 100% chance of rain, 1/10 of an inch is usually what they say. Out here, folks, we don't get the kind of rainfall that they get on the coast. We are not on the rain coast. And just like that, the rain's dying off. Trying to get packed up so we can move. I put that power unit to the test this weekend. There's some dark clouds up there, and they're moving fast. All right, the squall is over. You can see the raindrops in the soil. Just like that, the rain is over. We got quite a bit of dirt work done. This area I still have some work to do, but knocking it down to dirt like this is key at this time of year. It kind of sucks in a way because you really want all this beautiful green grass. But the problem, folks, is in a month from now, all this beautiful green grass will turn into dry hay. If you know anything about dry hay, it'll burn up fast. Game camera manufacturers should know that they should put memory cards in facing you, not facing away. All right, game camera set. And it just took a video. They're a bit noisy. I just noticed that one when it goes to video, it goes click, click. And that's why the animals look up, especially the deer, because they hear it. They don't know what it is. Well, we didn't get enough rain to knock down the dust, but oh, look at these gopher mounds. I think they're actually voles. I was trying to read up on them to see what they might be. I think we have like 1 billion voles out here. How do you say that fast? 1 billion voles, 1 billion voles. You want to say 1 billion voles. Looking to see batteries. Oh, they're not too bad. All right, set up. These cameras aren't the best cameras that you can get by any stretch, but they do the job. I suppose for a YouTube channel, if you were all about game cameras, you'd put better game cameras in, but folks, I just put them in to see who and what's going on around out here. I really wanted one on the road to the privy, but it doesn't really work very well there because the streamers on the posts make it take pictures. So I think I'll take off. Oh, it's that one there. When the wind blows, this stuff flaps around in the wind and sets my camera off, which you don't want. Wild strawberries galore out here, folks. All right, now this camera is also too high, but it's pointed up. So I thought I'd try to fix this one. I think if I just lowered it, that would work. Give me a second to lower this. All right, got that one lowered. It might work better. Oh, the mosquitoes were attacking me like crazy. The poor sawmill's just getting overgrown here. It looks like it's running downhill, and I need to tighten up the outriggers on there. But for now, just got to get packed up. Tim's doing all the work today. Look at that dirt work. And we're getting the rain again. We need the rain, folks. This camera here takes more pictures of tree boughs moving, but it works. All right, here we go. Tim and I got out and did a little fishing. We didn't catch anything. We got skunked. But we got the canoe out and took it down, well, it's 3 miles of pretty rough road to get here. And then back down again. And then another 13 miles out to the lake and back. The trailer worked pretty good. Got a few fixes to do still. But it actually worked really good. The canoe stayed put despite getting bounced around. So pretty happy with that. It's been a good weekend. Got a couple things to do before we get out of here. And we'll get to that. Boy, these panels, squirrel. You could see these panels. I don't know how well you can see it, but there's some dust washing off of them with this rain. Looky here, somebody's entrance into their house that's right over there. I need to set up a pellet gun somewhere. That's a big hole right there. Those guys get up underneath your cabin and they ruin your foundation. Well, check out these game camera videos. We got a lot of deer, some coyote. It's pretty cool. Check it out.
Another day passes. Everything just seems to stay the same. The sun sets and the sun rises, but nothing ever changes. Not here, not anywhere. It's just the same thing, different day. Like we're stuck in a cycle. It just goes round and 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 round again. Sometimes I look up at the sky and I wish for better days.
All right, folks, I got to show you this. It's a crazy idea I had. We're packing up the trailer, and in a previous video, I showed you guys a really small little 100 amp hour battery that I'm using for my canoe, and how you could use this setup as a small portable power station. And if you only needed 12 volt, you could use one of these battery boxes because it has 12 volt outlets. But it also has your posts that you hook your trolling motor up to. Well, what if we hooked up an air compressor to it, which we've done. Check it out. That's a Smittybilt. That's a pretty heavy duty one. Let's have a look. 45 amps max draw. So, folks, that's like 500 watts. So it's going to draw that battery down, but we're going to go ahead and fire this up and air up the tires on the Jeep, because we lowered those down to about 20 pounds when we were out on some rough road pulling the canoe to go fishing. So without a whole lot of fanfare, I'm going to go ahead, get these tires ready to go. So I'm not drawing entirely on that battery, but I said in my video, I didn't really have something going that I could drain that battery and really see how well I could push it. Well, guess what, folks? We're going to push that battery right now. That's the Cycle & Bat 12.8 volt, 100 amp hour battery that is about 1/3 smaller, or 2/3 of the size of a normal Group 31 LifePo 4 100 amp hour battery. So we're going to push it right here. We're going to find out. Let me get my tires ready, brush off the mosquitoes, and see if we can get all my tires pumped up before that battery dies. Let's find out. Of course, it has to start raining. All right, let me get over here. When I say go, Tim, then you go. That's going to be the plan. Are you ready? And go. I don't know if it's running as hard and fast as it does the other way. That might be too much of a draw. I don't know, it sounds quieter, doesn't it? It may be that the BMS on that battery restricts that from drawing as much power as it should. Pumping air, I'll tell you that. Oh, we're up to 26 pounds. It's pumping plenty hard. Oh yeah, that's working good, Tim. We're at 26 pounds already. We'll be smart and we'll turn it off between tires, because that's the way you would do it if you were going to do this out in the field. You know what they say, watch pot never boils. 33. I went from 26 to 33 pretty quick, actually. As soon as I take it off the tire, as soon as I get it off the tire, mosquitoes are out in force, folks. It's got to be close to 36 pounds now. 36 is my goal per tire. From this one was 19, the other one's 18, and we got a couple of 20. Come on, let's go. We're gonna jump to 38. Shit. Oops, went to 39. Go ahead and shut it off. Went to 39 on that one. So we'll let a little air out of that. Actually, I think the reason it sounds loud, go ahead and turn it on, is because we're used to the motor, we're used to the engine running. Mosquitoes are brutal. 37, shut it off. Works pretty good. All right, flip her on. Right on, 36, 22. It's already come up 4 on that side. Woo! Mosquito bugs. They are hot and heavy right now. It's got the 4 buttons for 100%. It's still blinking on the 100% like it was yesterday when we were running the canoe. 29, 36. Yep. This is actually working pretty good. It is pretty quick. All right, go ahead and hit it. "36, 36, 37, and 20. So one more to go. I let more air out of the one that had 37, but it still didn't drop. Sometimes they drop about 2 pounds. So, looking pretty good, folks. This is working out great. I'm thrilled. You know, really, for an overland setup with the canoe trailer having the battery,
Oh yeah.
this is pretty slick. It's working pretty cool. And that little tiny little battery is what's doing it all. And that amazes me because that battery is small. Overland off-road solution. 25 pounds. We're almost there. Oh, these bugs. I didn't put any off on. Should have maybe. I don't know how well it works. I guess it works some. Mosquitoes are deadly. 31, we're almost there. 5 more pounds. And the battery's already strapped down. You wanna come here and watch, and I'll go to the other side and get ready.
Is that 35?
36, 36. Okay, shut it off. We'll give that a second to rest and then drop that one down to 36 as well. Oh. See, I know if I let too much air out of this one, it'll go to 35 because they're within 2 pounds, maybe sometimes 3. They're not always that accurate. That's really about 36 right there. All right, folks. Well, I'm gonna get my old multimeter out. You won't be able to see this, so you're gonna have to take my word for it. I don't have a camera up close enough here to do this, but we're gonna go ahead and test voltage here. I got 13.22 volts. I'll drop down below the state of charge that we have on the battery, how much reserve we have. If I push the button up here, the fourth light, which is 100%, is currently blinking. So that means it's above 75% and below 100%. 13.22 volts, we can live with that. All right, folks, this sometimes can happen. My camera decided not to record my outro, so I thought I would do a very quick one for you right here. That cyclone bat worked very, very well. I dropped it a total of 30% from all the canoeing we did and then running this compressor. So not only did we run a trolling motor around for a couple hours, but we drew almost 600 watts out of it for a fairly lengthy period of time. Now, of course, I cut things down a little bit for this video, but I think the point is that it makes a great option for just about anything. 100 amp hours is a lot of power. That's 1280 watt hours. And that little cyclone bat is so small that it's kind of convenient to have around. So whether you're out overlanding in the woods or whether you're just trying to build a backup system for your house, a do-it-yourself power station, or frankly, putting in an off-grid solar power system and you want really small batteries due to tight spaces, well, that cyclone bat actually is a pretty impressive little battery. And you'll find it in a link down below to check out. All right, folks, well, you probably heard that lightning. And I wanted to put an EMP shield in my cabin. The way they operate, and the way it was explained to me, is they check the voltage across the circuit. And if the voltage of the circuit starts to go too high, then what these things do is they bleed off the excess voltage to the ground. So you must have a ground. That is actually really important. Now, you might think like on a car, well, there's no ground on a car. Well, actually there is. It's the frame. So they actually understand that and they set theirs up for that. But this is a house style one. And there are different kinds. this one here is designed for your 120 volt, and it's designed for RVs, small cabins, that kind of thing. So you think about it, you're thinking, well, why can't I just put it in my AC panel? Well, actually you can, folks. This is really designed for setups like mine here, where it's like a small cabin or an RV, and that may not be an easy option. So, and it could work for any household, actually, as long as you got grounds. You hear that rain coming back again. We're back to the rain. So this system, which is tested and developed in a military testing facility, so they use the same standards the military does, and I hope you can hear me, but the rain is coming down again. And so these are well tested, but you might think, yeah, but are they going to work? Well, EMP Shield guarantees these with a $25,000 guarantee. That's 25 grand. If it doesn't work, then they guarantee up to $25,000 in repairs to the electronics that it did not protect. Now you might say, yeah, but in a big EMP, everybody's going to be down. How are you going to know? Well, that's a great point, except that EMP Shield will warranty this for lightning strikes. So they're saying this is good enough that we are confident enough that it will protect you, that we're going to guarantee it with a $25,000 backing. So I'm sorry, lots of lightning happens all the time, and it blows stuff up all the time, and they're willing to guarantee it under those conditions. I'm pretty sure it'll probably work in an EMP too. Now, some of you may say, well, we just had a class 5 coronal mass ejection and nothing happened. Well, that's true. Although, what a lot don't know, and what a lot didn't tell you, is that when that coronal mass ejection happened, which was a G5, it should have knocked out power all over the world. It should have destroyed a bunch of electronics. And the mosquitoes are going to eat me alive here, folks. But it didn't. How come? Because the spot on the sun that ejected all of that plasma or whatever it is that creates that big EMP pulse on the Earth was actually aimed away from the Earth a few degrees, just enough so that that big G5 super coronal mass ejection actually deflected off the Earth's atmosphere. And I watched a scientist that talked about why you could see the aurora borealis or the northern lights at certain latitudes but not others, and it had to do with the way this thing glanced off the Earth. So if you don't think you need to worry about CMEs, hey, good for you, no worries, that's okay. I just like to have the protection, and you know what? EMP Shield makes it easy. This device here, I'm just going to take this device, plug it in the wall, plug something into it, and I'll be done. So let's go do that. All right, folks, I just happen to have the perfect place for now to plug this in, which is right here. Now, one thing they tell you is not to change the length of the cable. They're built for that length. So that's kind of important. And I don't know if you actually have to plug anything in, but we will, just in case, and I can just leave it turned off. But they say that this doesn't even have a ground. So that does show power, but it's on 0, so it's not going to go. My green light's on, so I've got a ground. That's important. And we are set, folks. We are good to go. And there you have it, folks. Super easy. Plug it in the wall, boom. My 120 volt stuff's all now protected. If we get a strike, comes a bit close, tries to induce a bunch of voltage into the system, the EMP Shield will bleed that voltage off to ground. Now, one of the ways I believe that works, and honestly, I'm not an electrical engineer, but they've got some micro switches in there that are apparently incredibly fast switches, faster than anything I've ever heard of, that can not only detect the voltage, but switch it to ground over and over again. So what happens is it doesn't allow it to cross the whole circuit. So it senses it and bleeds it off, senses it and bleeds it off, and it does that in milliseconds so that it's protecting your equipment. And once that all stops, hey, it's done. Now, I have seen a test at a pump where a gentleman had installed an EMP Shield for a county water pump. It was struck by lightning and it blew the EMP Shield off the wall. And the EMP Shield was blown up, but the pump equipment did not get damaged. That's pretty incredible, folks. And what's even more amazing is that EMP Shield will then replace that unit for $50. So if you think, well, I got to pay $50, well, it did its job. But the difference is, even if you don't think your EMP shield is damaged, because of their guarantee, they want you to replace it so that you can continue to have that warranty. So for example, if you get zapped by lightning and your EMP shield seems to be fine and everything survived, you could call them up and say, hey, I took a lightning hit, but it didn't seem to damage my EMP shield device. What should I do? They're going to say replace it for 50 bucks. And these are $389, $400 units. And yet they're like just 50 bucks and then you can continue your warranty. So here's a case of that it works, but they still give you a heck of a deal to replace that unit just to guarantee that it's going to work. I think that's awesome, folks. And again, if it didn't work, $25,000 to protect you. So it's a win-win as far as I'm concerned. So there you have it, folks. Now, we got to get finished packing up and get out of here. So thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Y'all have a great day.